Have you asked yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why does my job or business exist? I have too many skills, talents, and experiences. Then why am I still doing this job? To answer your questions, let us meet tonight at Chataway live at 8:30 p.m. Oman time. But why do I have to change the diaper? Hatim!
Hello.
How are you doing, bro?
Good. I have to admit that you look very good with the diaper.
With the diaper. You mean the diaper
Yeah.
on my hand, right?
Yes.
That's what you meant?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine, as long as
You
it's
know,
there.
you know, babies are everything about babies is good except the diaper part.
Oh man, but it keeps us safe anyway.
Alhamdulillah.
Man, I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Have you ever tasted life away from work? Like you took a long holiday. When I say long, I don't mean 1 month or two. I mean like you quit your job and maybe you have your own business. Did you have that feeling ever?
I wouldn't say quit my job, but I would say that I was through. I had an opportunity to train in an organization part time, and then they had an ad for the position. So I applied for it. I passed, and I went through all the interviews, and then didn't get the job.
Oh.
So I had to be at home for a few months until I could find something else. And until today, I didn't know why I didn't get the job, although they congratulated me, saying that you did very well. You are the top candidate. So I got that feeling. I don't know if this is what you're asking about, but it's something similar to what you're saying.
I think you have tasted a little bit of that, but I think we want our viewers to actually eat it, not just taste it. How about that?
That sounds good. Let's go.
All right. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Chataway in UMMATI station. How is everybody doing?
Wa alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah. Everything is good and everyone is doing well. It's nice to see you, Ali. It's a long time.
Yeah,
and
man.
you're always impressing us with the choice of guests that you have.
And today's guest, I think he's going to be someone who, I think who already affected me somehow. And yet last night he affected me even more. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. So you want to know about him?
Yes, for sure.
All right, let me just introduce our guest. A human being who is passionate about people and believes in giving back. The creator of #LoveRespectToAll. 25 years in senior roles in private sectors in 7 industries. And now an entrepreneur and his own boss. He's a coach and practitioner of emotional intelligence and NLP. Let us welcome HUSSAIN Al Lawati. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ali. Thank you very much for this introduction.
Thanks to you.
How are you, brother Hussein?
I'm doing well, Sheikh Hatim. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'm really honored to see you both, and also see your smiles that are giving me a lot of vibes and energy tonight.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
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 I think this is the first time we have a true conversation between us. Maybe our paths have crossed so many times, but maybe this is the first time that we literally have a conversation. So I'm really looking forward for today's session, because I want to learn a lot from you and understand a lot of the concepts. For someone such as yourself, who has been so experienced and had the courage and the guts to let go of your career and then start your own business, I think this is something that we as Omanis need to do, and we need to learn how to do it the proper way.
Inshallah. I think there's a lot, yeah, as you said, there's a lot of learning, especially when you resign in the same month that COVID hits, right?
Oh, so it wasn't like a long time ago. It's just recently.
No. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. So that's exactly when actually COVID hit. And
Okay.
and it was mixed emotions, obviously, but we keep going, and the consistency and persistency are obviously the key. ولا شك توكل على الله سبحانه وتعالى.
ونعم بالله. Hussein, this question always is posed to every one of us: is why do I do a certain job or task or career that I don't really like, I don't really enjoy? I feel like as if I'm killing myself every single day that I go to work. This feeling is very, very common with a lot of people. People are just working to get the paycheck at the end of the month. How can you describe this feeling? Why do we feel this way, the majority of us?
You know, it's a very awkward feeling, but fact of the matter is that you have to try to know whether you feel like that or not. You have to go through it. I guess, I mean, when I say you have to go through it, it's not that you have to go through it, but a lot of people do have to try these paths until they discover. And I think it starts, things have changed in the last 2 years with the coronavirus, COVID, and new normals, as we were speaking about it. Fact of the matter is that we need, even in schools with our kids, I think this has to change with the teachers. I don't want you to teach my kids to memorize. I want you to, as a teacher, I want you to discover with them what they want for the future, right? Let them try many things. We were not given that chance. I think education and the education system taught us to just go by the book. Yeah, and if you don't go by the book, then hey, you're not doing right. Or compare you to somebody else. See, your friend did this and did that, and they got better grades than you, and that's not the right way to do it with our kids. It's really unfair. I've gone through a lot of hardships. In fact, in the school, when I reached till the 11th grade, I was either the first or the second or the third on the school, or on the section that I was on. When I went into high school, something came to my mind and said, I'm tired of studying, right? And my grades were not well in the high school. But fact of the matter is, what happens after that? Is high school or the 12th grade, is that the end of the story? Is the bachelor degrees is the end of the story? Is it a master's? I mean, if you take it from an academic point of view, is your first job your end of story? Is your second job? Is this, as people see it, am I really losing on this? Am I a loser on this particular project that I'm doing? No, take it as a milestone. towards achieving another outcome and another outcome. You know, always fall forward. Do not fall backward. So, to your question, yes, we sometimes have to try it. But then if you stick around it for a long time and you don't like it, that's where the rottening, quote unquote, comes, right?
Mm.
You know, because khalas, you become part of the system and you don't allow yourself to be motivated to be out of the box. You just like everybody else. Do you want to really be like everybody else? That's it. A me too sort of a thing, right? A replica of whatever is available. You know, fact is, yes, the Pareto rule, which is the 80-20, is a fact, huh?
Yeah.
It cannot, not everybody is going to be successful depending on how you define successful. Not everybody is going to smile the whole time. Not everybody is going to become a millionaire. Not everybody. It's the people who have gone through the hardship to get there, right? Um, so yes, to your question, we have to try it and to make sure you switch fast when you are not feeling well, when you get up in the morning and you see that I am just not there to this job, you need to
Mm-hmm.
make a decision fast. Now, somebody would say, hey, Hassan, you're saying, you're saying I change a job every month. I mean, people are not getting jobs, and you're telling me to change a job every month or every 6 months or every year? I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
All what I'm saying is that discover your why first, because then the how is going to be simple.
But there is something that maybe people would be wondering.
Mm.
Maybe myself. You were in a senior positions, and normally
Yes.
people in those positions tend to focus more on building their job career path and of
Yeah.
course the business itself. So why did you
Yeah.
choose to quit and start your own business?
Because you missed out one thing, right? You focus on your career path and growing that career path, but you start focusing on politics and not the real job. Once you
Hmm.
grow in the ladder,
Mm.
in the corporate ladder, 80% of your job is the politics and managing the politics and making sure that nobody's going to stab you from the back, making sure that you are actually pleasing X person and Y person, making sure of the P word, right? And also
Yeah.
trying I mean, I'm sorry, I have to be blunt, but this is what I've really experienced, right? As you grow in the corporate ladder. And that was really tiring me. That was really tiring me. You really don't know who's with you and who's not with you, though you're trying to do your job and you do it to the utmost loyalty and to the utmost hard work and smart work and out of the box work. But eventually, unfortunately, that's the reality. Yeah, happens.
Hussein, sometimes you feel that you're living a life which is not yours. You're wearing a
Yeah,
mask that doesn't belong to you. You
of
have to
course.
do things to please others and to be acceptable, socially or professionally in the
Yeah,
industry. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, if you ask yourself, is this me? Do
Mm,
I want to do this? No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, smile when I don't feel like smiling.
mm, mm, mm.
I don't want to say nice things when I have a grudge on someone.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, especially the Eastern community, we have this. I don't know how will you translate it in English. Mujamala.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
It means saying something that you don't really mean. You're just
Yeah,
saying it so that others can feel comfortable and can be happy.
and be
Uh,
pleased. Yeah.
so
Mm,
and be pleased. But maybe it's about time people are more blunt,
mm,
more honest to themselves.
mm,
Of course, people will hate you for
mm,
saying the truth. People
mm.
will not like your ideas or the way you think, but it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay if this makes you happy and this will get you from point A to B, and you're going to achieve your goals as long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not
Yeah.
stepping on anyone's foot, then that's okay.
Mm,
People will
mm,
forget and move on. And I remember I had a wonderful boss at work, and he used to have a statement. He said, none of us is indispensable.
mm,
Today, Hatim, you decide you want to quit. we're going to get 10 Hatims better than you.
Mm.
You know, don't think that you're so valuable for the industry that we're not going to get someone else to do a better job than you.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, that company is not yours.
Yes.
You just get paid to do a task, and that's it. So don't get emotional, don't get attached. You know,
Yes.
don't overdo it. Don't risk your health and your
Yes.
social life and everything else
Yes.
just because you want to impress your boss, you want to impress
Mm.
the company, you want to do this. I'm not saying don't work hard. Work hard, but
Mm.
work smart as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to get that experience and work hard, get your first job, understand, how the corporate world works, and then you move on. Then you build yourself gradually towards your dream and your goal, right? I mean, for me,
Yes.
I always told my family around me that I want to be the CEO of my own organization. And that feels good. You build it the way you want. You build the culture of it as you want, but you will learn it once you go into the furnace, right? And you get to know what's really happening in the corporate world. And Alhamdulillah,
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the lucky ones to taste 7 industries, to be in senior levels of jobs, to interact with multiples of diversities, and that teaches you a lot. I still have people that I knew 25 years ago or 23 years ago who are communicating with me, and they're staying in touch and saying hello and having coffee with me. Building that
MashaAllah.
network in
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oman or out of Oman, around the globe, because my jobs allowed me to build the networks outside. That itself is a blessing. That itself is a privilege. You need to really kind of take care of it and nurture it and grow with it. And believe it or not, in the first 3 months when I quit my job, in the first 3 months, I had 12 different projects on my table. I was really confused on which project should I start with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you again, the knowledge of the corporate world tells you how to plan and how to design and how to put the operating plan towards a particular project that you want to go for. So I agree with you, Hatim. I mean, fact of the matter is that yes, you need to um, give it a chance and not be attached emotionally to it. Correct. I think that's a very, very important, especially in our cultures, the Eastern cultures, right? We're emotional
Yes.
in a lot of ways, which is fine. I mean, when you're emotional, then you care. But you need to care also in a balanced way. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, right? وسط in
Yes.
everything, right?
Yes.
It's a
In the middle in
balance.
everything. Balance it and move forward. As I always say, always fall forward.
So you just mentioned that once you quit your job, you got projects. So
Mm.
is that did that happen after you quit your job, or you already
Mm.
had those guaranteed contracts or projects, and
No,
then you
it
decided?
was it was afterwards, because again, when you're in a job, you need to be very again clear to yourself. Am I doing a job or am I doing a business, right? Am
Mm-hmm.
I really the conflict of interest line always comes there, and that's a professional line, obviously. So you need to give time to your job and work all the hours and more than the hours to give it to the job that you're in, because you paid for it. Once you're out, then you don't think about conflict of interest. You're the boss. You choose whatever
Yeah.
you want, right?
Yeah, but but
Yes.
Uh,
but
mm,
why did I ask you this question? Because
mm,
yeah, normally people will have that fear before
mm,
I quit my. I'm not gonna quit my job, and if I don't
mm,
guarantee myself any business.
mm,
So what was that? Before you took that step, was there anything that was
mm.
guaranteed, or you just decided, no, I'm gonna just quit?
You
No,
mean the
no, of
security, the
course.
The
security
security.
point?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Of course, the security part has to be there. You're not going to get it fully.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you cannot just reach to a level and say, oh, yeah, I was getting 1,000 reals. Now I have to make sure that I'm getting 1,000 reals to leave the job. There has to be, once you reach to the 60% or the 70% of it,
Mm-hmm.
then and you want to take a risk, calculated risk, you can move on with it. But yes, I wouldn't recommend that somebody leaves with all the commitments around him, with a family and with loans, quote unquote, and all that, and then you leave you
Yeah.
leave your job and say, I'm quitting, I'm
Scary.
going to be a powerful muscular with all the muscles that I have, I'll make sure that this happens. It's not as easy.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as easy. Yes.
And
Um,
for sure,
But yes.
and for sure, business is not for everybody. Not
No.
everybody's gonna make it. Ultimately, this is what is going on. It's a domino effect.
mm,
People are just
Yeah.
imitating others. They're not doing a calculated plan where they
Yeah.
want to think about it, do a feasibility study, a plan, secure resources as backup in case it doesn't work in the first 6 months, something like that. You need to be careful. If you're a single guy, a bachelor,
Mm,
then there is
mm,
no problem. You're gonna
easier.
take risks,
mm.
even if you don't make it. You're living
Yes.
in your parents' house and you'll do fine. You'll not starve to death. But if you have kids and you have commitments, and especially people who burden themselves with heavy loans,
Yeah.
it's not a smart thing to do. Just suddenly to decide that, what, I watched this show on YouTube. Hatim and Ali is saying you better quit your job, so I'm resigning
Yeah.
today.
I hope
Yeah.
my bosses
No,
are
that's
not watching
that.
this.
Yeah, this is not what we're saying.
Yeah. No, no, no. Of course
But
not. This is not what we're saying. Absolutely not. But then again, when you want to take the risk, you do the calculations, you do the feasibility study, but you also a lot of these youngsters. I mean, I love them, right? They have. We were at one point of a time where they were, right?
Yeah.
All
yes,
this enthusiasm, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to become my own boss, and all that. But then you also need to bring into the market something of a differentiation, right? You cannot have a karak shop giving the same karak and the same style, and you go and snatch the guy who's making the karak from the labor and then bring it. There's nothing different there. You have to
yeah.
bring in something that resolves an issue or answers a pain point as a business owner. Otherwise, you're not giving anything else. And tomorrow, if a lockdown happens and la qaddar Allah, another episode of Corona happens, and you have a lockdown, you would lose your customers because you're not giving anything important. How important
Yes.
is your product to your customers? You need to try that out. Seriously,
Pe-
stop your
People,
shop for 24 hours and then
Mm.
see, are your customers calling and saying, oh, are you really, why did you stop, or no, they're just going to the neighbor and buying the karak from there. Ha,
Yeah.
خلاص. So that's what's missing with a lot of these youngsters who want to do business. Yeah.
Hussein, tell us about the why theory.
Mm.
What's behind the
Yeah.
why theory, and how
Yeah.
important is it? What impact does it have in our life?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I think we learned that from the Quran. We learned that from how we were raised, obviously. But when you talk about uh, some of the surahs in Quran and some of the ayats in Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَمَا خَلَقْتُ
No.
الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. There is a reason, right? There is a reason for a
Yes,
certain deed or a certain action. It's all about the purposeful thinking. You cannot just keep on moving and you don't have a plan. Everything has to have that plan and design and execution. I mean, that's from the corporate world. That's what we learn. But we learn it also from our religion. We learn it from life. I was infected not this September, last September with coronavirus, and I was 18. I was in the hospital for 18 days. My
Mm.
oxygen
Subhanallah.
levels, yeah, my oxygen levels dropped from the 90s, normal levels, to the 60s. And I was in the next day to
Subhanallah.
go, on the 11th day to go to ICU, right? And
Oh.
something happened. I don't know whose dua was that, but then the doctor says measurements are really coming back to normal. But during
Subhanallah.
those days, I really discovered that if you don't have that positivity and why are you living for all what you're living for, then it's never going to happen. I think what took me really out of those 18 days, otherwise, in fact, the doctor called my family and said, pray for him. I don't know what to do tomorrow, right?
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
But it happened. I really thank them. In fact, I take this chance to thank the doctors, thank the nurses, because wow, they gave me also the why, or part of the why. They strengthened the why for me. Because every morning they would come and call me by the name and say, Hussein, how are you doing today? And all this enthusiasm, and I'm tired, and when your oxygen levels and you have these tubes in your in your nose
Uh,
and all that. But it was the smiles, it was the drawing of the picture that they did. Oh, no worries, tomorrow you will be out, the doctor is saying good stuff and all that. So, and they give me that enthusiasm and excitement and hope, right? So I thank them for that. It's all about, Hatim, it's all about purposeful thinking. It's all about, what am I
Subhanallah.
going to add value, what's the value that I'm adding now, and what am I going to do once I'm out? And that's where I decided also in my little program that I have, which is called HAL Talk, and
Hal
maybe
talk.
HAL Talk, HAL Talk. That you can watch it on Instagram. That's the name of the page. Uh, I gave 3 episodes of 3 lessons of what I learned from coronavirus, and why was one of them. Monitoring the change was one of them, and love and respect was one of them. I mean, I was amazed. My family was amazed when people who knew me for 25 or 30 years, they would call and say, we heard about Hussein, how is he doing? We pray for him and all that. Hey, that's a great feeling. Then you left something there, right? 25 years with them, 25 years ago with them, for them to come
Mm.
back and say, I care about you, I'm praying for you, right? So how can I now do the same thing for another 25 years, right? From now on, for another 25
Yeah.
years. That's the purposeful thinking. That's what you really need to do every day. What value am I adding? That's very important.
And I think that's the question that people should actually ask themselves before doing business. Because normally, when we want to have business, all what we think about is the end result. It's okay, the money. And I
Yes.
don't think that's correct. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, that's part of the formula, but is it the formula? Is it the full formula? No. In fact, in one of these programs where I did, through my research, I mean, you realize that the Japanese companies that have been there for years and years, one of their mottos is not the financials, right? The financials have to come to have the
Yeah,
sustainability and the growth and all that. But what is it that you're adding to the community or to the
exactly.
society? What are you doing? You're inventing or manufacturing a car. You're manufacturing a digital gadget. You're doing a phone. What is it that is really paining the humanity? And there is a gap, and there's a vacuum that you're covering, and that you're closing. So if you're not doing that, then you're not adding value. You're not serving the purpose, because the purpose is a spirit, by the way, right? It's the spirit that gets you going.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't have that, then at one point of a time you will say, hey, enough is enough, I'm quitting, I'm not doing this anymore. But if that spirit is with you, and you know that at the end of the movie, because you're the director of the movie and you're the writer of your movie, it's
Yes.
the end is going to be as you write it and as you design it. Do you want it to be a fatality at the end of the
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
all the war and the shooting and all that, and everybody's dead? Or you want everybody to be smiling, and the sky is raining, and khair is coming? It's how you design it, it's how you take it forward.
I think, Hussein, it's very important for all of us to understand one thing is
Mm.
that we get only one shot in this life, and if you don't get it right, it's gone. Um, when our parents have marriage intercourse, millions of sperms die. Only one makes it, which is me and you.
Mm. Mm.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose us for a reason.
Yes.
So we don't want to disappoint Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to live a life where you are the best version of yourself.
Mm.
Yes.
You have capabilities, you have potentials that Allah has given you, which are different than anyone else.
Yes.
If you don't use them, it's like in the cowboy movies. You go into the bar, you have the guns, but you don't know how to shoot. So there's no point of you having the guns. So we do have the guns now, which is our skills, our potential, the way we feel, the way we look at things in our perspective, but we don't do anything about it. Once someone was asked, what is the most expensive piece of land on earth? Someone said Tokyo, someone said New York, someone said this, but the correct answer was the graveyard. That's the most expensive piece of plot, because all the ideas that have not seen the light are buried there.
It'll be
All the
found there.
books, all the poetry, all the inventions, they're all buried there because the owners of these ideas didn't have the courage to do something about these ideas. They
Yes.
died, and the idea died with them.
I
And
was
unfortunately, we're repeating ourselves, all of us.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching a movie yesterday on Netflix, The Boy That Harnessed the Wind, a boy in Mozambique, right?
Ah, yeah.
You know, I don't know whether you've seen the movie. It's a beautiful movie. And then
I've
towards the
seen
middle
it.
of the
I've
movie,
seen it, mashallah.
you've seen it, right? Come on,
Yeah.
creating water, because there was a reason, right? There was a purpose,
Yes.
there was a why, and there was a belief also. Otherwise, this boy even went to his father and said, I need your bicycle to create that, movement of the wind and the
Cycle.
turbine and all that. Exactly, right?
Yes.
And the bicycle was an asset that nobody in the village had. But he convinced his father that there is no other solution but your bicycle, and I have to rip it off. I have to take those parts and make the water come so we can actually grow the plants that we want. Fact of the matter is, again, the spirit, the belief, the purpose, the perseverance in going forward and making sure that this is happening, not only for you. So if you succeed in something, don't make it only for you. Come on. I mean, we need it for the whole humanity, right?
True.
Not for you, for me and my family because we are the best, we are the chosen. No, it's for everybody, right? That's why you were born. That's why you were chosen, as Sheikh Hatim was saying, right? Because you have a purpose and you need to relay it to the rest of the humanity. And hence, of course, Ali, as you said in the introduction, hence was the creation of this hashtag, right? Love and respect to all. Hey, what does it take you to love and respect all, right? It doesn't take you anything except to say the right words. And this is what your Quran taught you. This is what your Islam taught you. This is what your raising taught you. And give it back. And by the way, once we are connected for long term, then this earth is going to be much better than it is at this point of a time. Otherwise, once I become me and I and not we, then everything just dies out.
I think we're too busy thinking about ourselves and how we can survive that we actually forgot about the surroundings. So I think we need that wake up call.
Ali, I have a burning question for Hussein.
Oh, you have a burning question?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Hatim's burning question.
This is when Ali is a little bit bored and he starts playing with my face. So Hussein, how do people implement the why in their life, in such a way to make a difference to others, while in today's world we live the individualism? Everything has to do with me. I give you a classical example. Hussein, 6 years ago or 10 years ago, you would see people taking group photographs. We would go to a restaurant and we will always tell the waiter, please take a picture of us. Now, the case is, I take my own selfies. I take it from this side, from that side. I take my food, and it's all about me.
It's me.
I don't care about it. I don't care about the people who are sitting even next to me. I don't care about the feelings of the millions who are starving who are not getting anything to eat. I don't care. Okay. And because of now everything is iPhone, selfie, and everything else, khalas, we are programmed that it has to do with you only.
Yeah.
So how can we change the mindset of people to go back and think of the majority, us, instead of I?
Correct. I think it has. Thank you very much for the burning question. And it's a very important question for all of us. Correct. How
Yes.
do I take that individualism away? Well, it starts with you and I. Seriously, that's where it starts. If you are going to, if you and Ali and Hatim, or Hussein, Hatim and Ali, they start now creating that bond between them, and make that bond stronger every day, the individualism and selfie is going to go away, quote unquote, right? And I'm
Yes.
not talking about the selfie picture, but I'm saying you believe that you cannot survive without your brothers and sisters around you, right? If you believe that this world is one, hey, the coronavirus that hit me, at the same night it hit another person in another part in the world. I don't know which part was it, right? And maybe we have
Yes.
gone through the same pains, we have gone through the same, ups and downs. And if you relate yourself to that and you start thinking about it starting from your own, that's where we are going to win it. I'll give you an example. 18 days in the hospital, I was seeing people coming in that ward, because it was like 10 beds
An
or
open,
six,
an,
7
an,
beds,
an
whatever.
open, an open
Open
word.
area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't go to a room when you're infected to that level, right? And people would come and people will go, and I would notice, oh, this person came 2 days ago, but he left, but I'm still there, right? Hey, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I pray to Allah, I wish them all the best. I hope that their kids are now smiling because they're back home, right? You
Yes.
see somebody on the road, and you see a beggar on the road, right? Maybe you cannot give him or her anything, but if you pray for that beggar and you say, Ya Rab, I'm asking you to, inshallah, give him barakah somewhere, and things get. See, if you start caring about the surroundings, your individualism is
Yes.
going to go away, right? I was just thinking about it actually today, and I saw an individual with a special need, and I started making dua for them, right? So you didn't think about yourself, you thought about that individual.
Exactly.
And by the way, that doesn't happen only to your local surrounding. It should be to your man lam yahtam bi umur al-muslimin laysa minhum, right? I would,
Yes.
and when you make dua for the whole humanity, because it's not for a particular sect or a particular religion that you need to make dua for, right? It's the whole
Mm.
humanity. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا
La
رَحْمَةً
rahmatan.
لِلْعَالَمِينَ. For everybody.
Yes.
Hey, Prophet, we
Yes.
Yes.
sent you as blessings and mercy for everybody, not for Muslims, not for Hatim and Ali and Hussein. No.
Mm.
If we start thinking those lines, we're going to grow as a big society. We keep saying, hey, the world has become a big village and everybody knows everybody, but we know each other technologically. We know each other economically. We know each other politically, but we don't know yet each other from a human point of view, right? Human connecting to a human. That's how you're going to be eliminating the individualism. If you start caring, if you start implementing. And by the way, let's not forget one thing. If we start also conveying that to our new generations, because they are the most impacted with, I
Yes.
call them the generation of buttons. And I don't blame them. They
Mm-hmm.
were born. In fact, somebody was telling me the other day, he had a friend whose little daughter was born in 2020, and when she was growing, she saw everybody wearing a mask, right? Now, when somebody takes the mask away, she cries.
Oh,
Subhanallah.
Can you
subhanallah.
believe it?
Subhanallah.
Things have changed. So we need to make sure that we give these beautiful um, beautiful senses
Souls.
to our kids and souls. Yes, we need to give that to our kids so they can carry it out generation after a generation. I hope I kind of gave you a flavor of the answer of your question.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, you
I
did.
think there's a continuation maybe to this question by Hassan al-Rasbi. How to find the wisdom of balancing me and we. So sometimes we give a lot to others and forget about ourselves. Other times
Yes.
we are so focused on ourselves and forget others. So how we can get that
So,
balance?
so Hassan, so when did you travel last time? I don't know whether you traveled recently, right? But in the first video of before the takeoff, it says when the oxygen mask comes, you first put it on yourself, then you give it to
Yes.
the kid, right? Because
Mm,
that's where the sustainability is going to be. That's where you're going to be saving life. If you have the right beliefs, if you have the right positivity, if you have the right why, if you know how to do it, then you're going to be able to relay and convey that to others, right?
yes.
And again, humility, being humble. A lot of people do not give because they think they know it all, right? And they
Yeah.
stop giving, right? They're only takers. I think that's what we need to do. That oxygen mask thing is what we need to really implement in our world nowadays. If we do that, then we'll be really creating big teams of successful people and positive people.
Hussein, I want you to talk a little bit about leadership because
Mm,
the people are a little bit confused about leadership because there are so many gurus out there in the world who have written
mm,
so many books about leadership,
mm,
and somehow in the Eastern world, I still find people thinking that leadership is how loud I am, how
mm,
bossy I am, how
mm,
good I am at giving instructions to others and
mhm.
making them feel that I am better than them. So,
Yeah.
what's modern leadership? What's the right or the proper leadership that we should embed in our life? I'm sorry, it's a long question, but
No, no, no,
leadership,
I understand.
basically.
Leadership, yes. I think a generic question is always what is leadership? What is a leader and what is a manager, right? And I'm not going to answer that. Uh, and even the people who have written about leadership, they say it's still not completed. Every day we discover something new about leadership. In fact, let me tell you one more thing. So there are types of leaderships, right? And one of the leadership types is a servant leader, right? So it starts with, again, as we said, about caring, about understanding, about listening, about not being the boss, right? Not being the one. I got leadership from given to me from divinity, and I am gonna lead you. I'm gonna be in front of you. No, you know what? What's real leadership? Is when you walk with your team, not even a centimeter ahead of them,
Yeah.
right? But you give them common goals. You give the whole team common denominators to work towards, right? Because one of the missing things in leadership, and if we call it leadership or to reach to that goal, is that a lot of leaders miss out the communication part. If we communicate to our people transparently, openly, tell them, and getting away from mujamala. I don't know, again, I don't know the English word for it, to be
I don't know.
honest, right?
It's courtesy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, making people pleased because you want to please them and not the goal and the main purpose. If you communicate that, you're a leader, right? A lot of bosses, managers miss out on the fact that they do not communicate. They say, oh, no, 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 I'm the boss, or I'm on the top level, so this has to stay with the top level. And the people underneath there, we will tell them the good news only, right? Or we will tell them, I'm going to cut your salary only, right? The bad news.
Hmm.
No, no, tell them everything. We had a boss in one of the companies that I worked in, right? And it was a startup. Amazing boss. He was a fantastic mentor. I wish him all the best in his life. He would stand on the table. right? When we would achieve something, he would come and stand on the table and say, hey guys, gather around me. I'm not going to send you an email. No, let me tell you, see my emotions, see the results. You did it. Fulan, Muhammad, Abdullah, Ahmed, you guys did it.
Wow.
What do you think is going to happen after that little 10 minutes meeting on the table?
Everybody's going to be charged up.
Thank you.
Inspired, yes.
That organization, Hatim, snatched 43 to 45% of the market share in the first 5 years of their existence.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Because you gave ownership to everybody, not you as the leader. Everybody was the owner towards achieving a common goal, right? And even the coffee boy in that organization, he would actually own the complaint from a customer who was from a third party, right? The coffee boys normally are outsourced or whatever.
Yes.
And that guy would come and say, oh, Hussein, oh, Muhammad, this guy has a complaint. His line is not working or whatever, his technology is not working. And he would own it. If you add that ownership to everybody, you are the leader, right? Allow them to become a leader like you. A leader is a person who creates leaders better than him to get the sustainability going. That's what a leader is, right? That's what leadership is.
Not when you find somebody does something wrong and then you blame that person. Yeah. And if somebody does something good, you take that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one who did it.
Yeah. Have you heard about Simon Sinek? Of course you have heard
Simon
about this
Sinek,
guy, right? Who
yes.
talks about leadership and all that. He says he had a boss, and when he would get in trouble, he would go to the boss and say, boss, but I have trouble. I don't know what to do, whatever. And he says, my boss would pat me on the back and say, so what plan do you have to fix that? And he would go away. Ownership, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ownership, exactly. And communication. I think we are in a lot of circumstances and environments, we miss that. The communication is not there. We expect people to accept anything. We accept people if I tell them I'm going to slash your salary, well, they don't have a choice. They have to do it. If you tell people I'm going to take this away from you, they have to accept it. No, that's not the way. What is your main? Now, here is the why, guys. What is your main why? Is it you being a CEO of this organization for the longest years possible, or to make this organization a successful organization with the right returns and revenues and profitability? These people, these CEOs who think that I need to keep all the things to myself, by the way, they don't last for too long, huh? In 2-3 years, they'll be out because everybody's going to discover you're not adding any value to my organization. The board is going to say, bye-bye. I don't want you. Bring somebody else. So that's what leadership is. I would say communication and ownership. That's very important. Sorry for the long answer too.
I think we need such answers. I think people need to understand, especially the ones who think themselves as leaders. Question here by Hassan: what is your advice to find someone's goal in life? Example, the field or the major that he should be specialized in.
A common question nowadays. I have one of my daughters who's graduated the 12th grade, right? But she found herself a long time back being with special people with special needs and elderly and all that, into occupational therapy, psychology, and all that.
Hussein, mashallah, you don't look like you have a daughter who is graduate. You look very young. When did you get married, man? In high school?
Smile. Smile, don't overwhelm yourself. That's how you keep yourself.
ما باين عليك شايب يا أخي كمان.
Come on. No, but that's a common question now with a lot of, how do you find your goal? How do you find your specialization? This has to start in early age. You cannot just graduate 12th grade and say, what am I going to go for? Engineering or medicine or all that. That's not how it's going to work. But that's not the end of the road. So if you graduate in the 12th grade and you want to go for a specialization or a major or whatever, by the way, you need to try out things, right? How would you know that this is chicken biryani if you don't try it? Right? Of course, you will see the chicken on top of it, But
Yeah,
how would you know that it's spicy or not, right?
Yes.
And
yes, you
how
have to try it.
delicious is it or not? You have to try it.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't think there is a way. There is no perfect way of knowing what you want. You have to try things out. But nowadays versus 20 years ago, it's much easier, right? You can Google
Yeah.
stuff, you can sit down with a coach, you can, and by the way, even with coaching and how we bring coaching to life, coach will never give you an answer. Coach will open up the doors for you with the right
Yeah.
questions too. Ali, we
Yes.
know it. Hatim, you know it, right?
Mm.
It will
Yeah.
open up the doors for you to know the answers. So sit down with a coach, sit down with somebody who's going to probably also in some of these ideas mentor you. I think that's important. But uh, if you ask Hussein, I've tried 7 industries. If you ask Hussein, I've tried 3 majors. I'm still not satisfied. I still want to learn more and more because every day there is something new that you want to learn. But it's not the major or the specialization or the goal that you need to be after. It's your purpose, your big line of why. What am I going to add to this world? How can I really draw a smile on the faces of people around me? That's where it really matters. Then you will get to your goal easily.
Hussein, what about SMEs, especially during COVID-19? You know, a lot of them have been hit so hard. They find it very difficult to make the ends meet, and some of them they are even regretting taking the route of
Business.
business. They
Yeah.
nobody saw this coming. We were not expecting
Hmm.
this COVID to hit so hard, or even to have COVID in the first place. Nobody was. I'm sure in 2020, all of us had like resolutions to do things, and the entire thing changed. But the people who are business owners are hit the most.
Yeah. So what about them? Some of them lost, but by the way, there is a number and a segment of them did win, right? Some SMEs did
Mm.
really make big wins
Yes,
around the world.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Uh, and, I mean, that fact of the matter. We've seen that, whether that is in Oman or even outside of Oman. So if somebody doesn't like me to say, oh, there was wins, and you would say, no, no, that was only in America and Canada and Germany, right? No, I tell you, in Oman, I know some SMEs who I coached, and not because I coached them, no, because they believed in themselves. They actually achieved their targets, sales targets, in the midst of, or in January 2021, when they were reviewing their numbers of 2020. They actually did a growth. I know
Mm.
an organization that has done 35% more than 2019 in 2020. Why?
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
I'm not
Why?
gonna be
Because,
surprised. Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're focused.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Ali. I'm sorry to
No,
cut you off.
I'm just wanted to tell you about the businesses or some of them, like the delivery. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
instead of going buying grocery from the shops, they actually come to
yeah.
your house. So that's one of the examples.
Exactly,
It wasn't there
exactly.
before.
It wasn't. It wasn't. So digitalization is one of them. Reviewing your costs was another solution. Looking at your business. And by the way, maybe sometimes, yes, you need to just stop that business that is really hurting you and start a new business and start a new idea. And by the way, it's not
Yeah.
only about investing 20,000 or 30,000 in starting up another business. Maybe you wanna do trading. Maybe you wanna do something else. There's a lot of ways of creating money if that's the money part of it. You have to be a diversified individual. Even big organizations that have been doing one thing for a long while, they're actually now diversifying. They're putting things in different ways and forms and shapes. They are not working in one community, they're working in multiples of communities. They're not working in one country, they're working in multiples of countries. They're not working with one product, they're working with a product and a service, right? They're not giving the product hand in hand, they're actually digitalizing their ways of supply chain. So some of the SMEs, I think, did not realize that they are living in a new normal. and unfortunately, it didn't happen for them. There's
So
a noise in the background. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. Does that mean there's no excuse for people who don't have money to start business? So for people who say, "Oh, I don't have money, how can I start a business?"
by the way, there are businesses that you can start for 100 riyals.
Uh-huh.
You can. Yes, around the globe, you can. There's people who have started learning about different businesses and different ways of doing things, even with a 100 riyals. Maybe at the start you would lose that 100 riyal. No problem. That's an investment. Don't take it as a losing. I mean, as an individual, I believe I lost not less than $100,000 in trying different things, right? So what? 40,000 riyals or something like that. So
Yeah.
what? That's an investment on yourself. That's why then I realized that I need to do this and drop this. If I did not try it, maybe that's the hard way of trying it, but everybody goes through it. And I'm not
Yes.
saying and whoever is watching this program should not take this as a quote unquote or as a rule of thumb, right? So a job is not going to make you a millionaire. There's nobody who was in a job who came out of the job as a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Not
unless you
not
are
to
the
not to my knowledge. Not to
yeah,
my
well, I mean,
knowledge.
unless you're the
Un-
CEO of Apple who was given $750 million as a bonus.
Or a
No, that they,
or a thief or a thief.
there's only one employee that there's only one employee that comes out as a millionaire, a president of a country. That's a job, man.
Maybe. Yeah, but I'm saying, let's
Look,
have hope. So we're not discouraging you. Whoever is listening to us today, we're not discouraging you. We're saying there are more ways now than it used to be 20 years ago or 15 years
Yes.
ago, right? And they are genuine, legitimate, growing, sustainable ways that somebody already tried. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Hey, that's
Exactly.
good news, right?
yeah.
Do not
Yes.
reinvent the wheel.
um,
Saying yes, go ahead, Ali.
no, because I want to talk about Hal Talk, but maybe if you have a question before that, that'll be fine.
Yeah, I have a question. Now you spoke about the 80 and the 80-20 theory, and let's talk about the 80, the people who are in the 80 segment who are still in their jobs. Um, they need two things, but it's very difficult for them to achieve. The two things are the second source of income, even if it's only 10% or 20% of their total income, and the concept of saving. You realize in the Eastern community that the majority of people are craving for the 25th of the month to get the paycheck. They are living on the date.
Oh yeah.
So they don't have a second source of income and they are not into saving. It's not their cup of tea. As soon as they get their paycheck, they
2
go
days.
to Muscat Mall and spend every single penny. So I want you to talk a little bit about that, Hussein.
So, as you said at the start of our chat, is that not everybody is cut off for a business, right?
Yeah.
Some people will be in a job, and that's definitely probably this is the majority.
Yes.
Interestingly, I was hearing from a friend of mine in Indonesia. He says we do have jobs, but after 4 p.m. we have businesses, even small businesses.
MashaAllah.
I mean, he says our communities, they are entrepreneurs, right? They have a job in the morning, they go to the job, come back at 4 o'clock, come back at 5 o'clock, until 10 o'clock for 5 hours or so. The family does a roster, and these people who have jobs, they actually take over the business, right? Because again, there is a need,
Yeah.
right? Need is very important. So if you don't have a need, then you're not going to create yourself a second source of an income, right? You'll be satisfied, right? If there's a need, of course, then the clarity of the how is going to be more. And if there is a why, the clarity of the how is what is going to be more. So not everybody is cut off for a business, and that's not wrong. All what we're saying is that if you are in a job and you're just waiting for the 25th, Have you tried that out? A lot of companies where we are now in our country or in other countries, they got a cut in the job in the salaries of about 20-30%. So on the
Yes.
25th of the month, when your phone was getting an SMS and says, "Ting, you got 1,000 reals." Now maybe you're getting 750. Did that hurt when the first time it came in? Did you really realize it? Did you really pay attention to it? you know, there is nothing called a fixed income now.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even your
True.
job, right? Anytime the bosses can decide that your salary is going to go down if you, well, COVID, and everybody used COVID as an excuse to reduce salaries, to cut off people from jobs and all that.
Hussein,
Fact is that
the famous statement, you hear at work: "You're overpaid. You're overpaid."
yeah, exactly. You're overpaid. Yes, that comes very often nowadays, right? We're already
Yeah.
giving you this allowance and that allowance, and we'll cut them off, and everybody's seeing it now. So reality says, Hatem, that I think without even analyzing the 80-20, I think everybody realizes that, hey, what have I been doing for the last 20 years? I never thought this is going to come, but the new normal says it has come. They were asking, by the way, the doctors in Italy, when Corona hit, it did hit Italy very badly at the start,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So a reporter was asking one of the doctors, says, so when do you want the new normal or the old normals to come back? He says, no, we don't
There's
want it to
no.
come back, because that was exactly where the problem was. We were not ready for the new normals, right?
Yes.
So there are
Yes.
people who are not saving, they're not having a diversified income, depending on a job. They would expect these hurricanes to happen. Today is Corona, tomorrow it's going to be Morona, the third day is going to be Corona, right? Or it's going to be S20, Corona S20, Corona, what? I don't know, right?
Whatever they call it, yeah.
Hey, for God's sakes, be prepared for it.
Be
Be prepared for
prepared.
it, right? And there's many ways. Again, going back. Good news is there's many ways that were invented now that are happening. People are enjoying, and you can do it. But it has to have a belief first from yourself that I need a second source of income. I need to diversify. I need to do some saving. If you don't believe in it and the malls are attracting you every 7 p.m. and every day, then you're not in a good shape.
Then be my
Not in a
guest.
good shape for a long term. yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play one of the videos for the Hall Talk, and maybe we
Okay.
can talk about it then. Let me just play that
Sure.
right now.
Sure. Thank you.
Hey, welcome to Hal Talk. Thanks for joining me. I promised last time that it's going to be 3 episodes of learnings from my journey with COVID-19 and the hospitalization. So this interesting sort of an episode will talk about an example that happened and a learning that happened where my oxygen dropped to the 60s and I was to bring it back with the doctors, with the help of the medical staff, to 90s, but it was not going to the 90s, right? And there was a machine that was showing me the level of my oxygen, and the doctor comes one of these mornings and he says, what's happening? Why is it not going to the 90s? I said, I'm not sure. He says, no, I'm sure. He took the machine away from me and results striked. The oxygen went to the 90s and he showed it to me. Interestingly, I think life needs an element of change, right? So you need to focus and understand what that element of change is, and you need to strike it and make sure that this element of change is a common objective for everybody around you, then results are going to come. You need to make sure that you have your choice and strike your choice before the choice is striked for you from another person. You need to find your purpose and move forward in life. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
MashaAllah.
Mashallah.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Why did you start the Hal Talk, Hussein?
It was a passion for a long time. I have given talks to hundreds of people when I was during my studies and all that. And I like standing on the stage and just motivating people and seeing people energetic and all that, right? When I was in school, when I was in the university, and even after university. And again, after 25 years and with this multiple of diversification of experiences, I said time to give back, right? Give back to the SMEs, give back to the new generations, give back from the way I learned it. I learned it the hard way. I mean, details of life are very, there's a lot of hardships. And I don't want some of these youngsters to go in the same hardships that I went through. We want them to reach the goals faster, in a smarter way, learn it. And that's what neuro-linguistic programming is, by the way. It's modeling, right? So Hussein went through some, unfortunate stuff. Hey, look at Hussein and let him give you the advice not to go through these roads and go, but rather than going to the left, go to the right, because that would be a better road for you since Hussein already tried it out, right? So I think it was part of giving back. And I'm happy to say that with the number of people that I've been coaching, and once you're done with the coaching session of 40 minutes or for 50 minutes, when you see a smile on the face of that individual and a relief coming out, and you ask them, so how was the change and how was the outcome, and they say, yeah, I feel I have a solution, let me go and think about it. That's good, right? Because when they came to you, they came overloaded with a lot of this negativity around them. You cannot do it, this is not going to happen, this is never going to improve, this is bad, this is that. And they come to an individual who's going to tell them, no, there is hope, by the way, because you know what, I'm a live example. I went through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs, right? So, but I feel that I'm now up. So how did you do it? Well, this is how you can do it. What do you think about yourself? What do you think, how, maybe this, maybe that, that it was part of the giving. And I'm very happy. I'm thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I have a chance for Hal Talk, right? And I'm thankful to Ali Najjar. Ali Najjar is a brother from Bahrain who is also a partner in multiples of things, who really told me, Hussein, you got to do this, right? Try it out. Just go for it. And he showed me how to even do it, right? Because he's also a director, and he does, movies and commercial ads and all that in Bahrain and Kuwait and also in Oman. He's done some brilliant videos through Creative Soul. So when he told me to do it and I did it and I saw the results, I said, no, that's one of my major whys, right? To give back. But that doesn't mean that for the 25 years I know everything. I need to learn more because the responsibility is bigger now, right? I need to go through emotional intelligence practitioner. I need to go through NLP. I need to become a certified coach. And I started doing that after I graduated from the corporate world. And wallahi, and it's fun. It's fun. Just take it step at a time and just smile and go for it. So that was Hal Talk, Hatim.
MashaAllah. Hussein, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Ali, go ahead.
No, go ahead first.
I was just going to ask Hussein, because we get the same question as well. We are from the Middle East. Why are we not doing this show in Arabic? So we're posing the question to you as well. Why aren't you doing it in Arabic?
No, so I'm a step ahead. I did it in Arabic many times.
I think you did. Yeah, there are some videos in Arabic.
Yeah. I mean, no, there is a gap. There is a gap, and there is some attempts, good attempts from some good people, good Omanis who are doing it in Arabic. And I did it in Arabic. So now the demand that's coming to me, if you do it in Arabic, then you have to put subtitles in English. If you do it in English, then you have to put subtitles in Arabic, because we would like to learn from that, right? So that's, and again, now going to the YouTube channel, Ali, as you suggested.
So you did it in Arabic and English to avoid putting the subtitle.
Well, I mean,
No, that's just a joke.
what I did. No, I know, I got it. So I'm supposed to laugh. Sorry, I didn't laugh.
That's okay.
But what I did is that, every episode, I don't do an Arabic and the same concept in English. I do different concepts. So it's,
Yeah.
the messages are more and the concepts are more, and people benefit
Yeah.
from it in a different way. Yeah, that's what I do.
You relate they relate to it differently. Hatim,
Yes.
there's one more thing
Yes,
that
Ali.
you might not know about Hussein. Shall I reveal that?
Yeah, I would love to know.
Okay, let's go.
وسموتي فينا سدرة خضراء هذا تسيدي فابقي على عين الدنا روضا جميل المشهد يا عمان نأوي بخضر غصونها وجناك ينبت في اليد بيضاء كفك إنها كحمامة في مسجدي حمراء مذ كمبرا صفا بوجه المعتدي
MashaAllah.
Amazing.
Oh,
You're full
wow,
of surprises. You're full of
revealed it,
surprises.
huh?
SubhanAllah.
I couldn't
You know,
hold it.
Are you part of a group?
Yeah,
Hussein?
Yeah,
The group of four guys. Are you one of them?
Yes.
What is it
Yes,
called? The
so,
group? I
it's
forgot.
me. واعتصموا.
Wa'tasimu. That's where
Yes.
where I know your face. Yes. Subhanallah. I'm getting
So, yeah.
old, man. I'm getting old.
No, you're not, because this video was a few years ago. I mean, some years
I
ago,
think
right?
8 or 9 years ago. Yeah, it's a very old one.
Yes.
So tell us about this. This has nothing to do with leadership and
It's diversion
SMEs
now.
and
There's a diversion.
motivation.
But it's still the power of why.
You have
I think
confused me now.
when I was I think I do confuse a lot of people with this, right? But fact is, every individual needs
Yes.
a breathing area, right?
Yes.
When you are under the pressure of the corporate world and all that. And for me, when I was going into the studio, that's where I would breathe in and breathe out, right? Putting the headphone and in front of you have the mic, and then again, so we did some nasheeds about, of course, Oman. In this particular video, we talked about the values of Oman, right? And also something about the smile. We did some nasheed about that. Something about friendship. So you are conveying the same messages in a nasheed format. We talk about positivity. We talk about smiles. Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be fair just to talk about it very quickly. We need to have an entire session,
Just about that.
to talk about about that side of Hussein. Yeah, I don't want you to talk about it very fast.
Seriously, I've listened to this song long ago, and yesterday I just wanted to listen to it again. And you have no idea how emotional I became when I listened to that song. Subhanallah, and it reminds us also of the late Sultan Qaboos. May Allah send His mercy to him.
May Allah.
So it really gets you so emotional, and it shows the love of the country.
Yeah.
How we have that loyalty to the country.
Ali, don't make us cry. You're gonna ruin the makeup, please.
It doesn't look like you have put one. There's a reflection. You didn't put the foundation. Why?
Well, I think if we don't have more questions, we're running out of time. Sheikh Hussein, thank you very much for being a sport wonderful guest. We've enjoyed
I
the
appreciate it.
session with you. We've learned a lot. And for sure, inshallah, we'll follow your footsteps in the why theory, inshallah. And I hope everyone else also enjoyed it and benefited from today's session. So hope to see you soon, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank
Inshallah.
you,
Thank you
thank you,
very
thank
much
you
to
so.
both of you.
Yeah, no,
Ali, I
thanks to
appreciate
you.
it. Sheikh
Please
Hatem,
do not thank us. I think because we have really, you got us inspired, and this topic itself, the why, I think it's very important to myself. I would say before even everybody else. So I think I'm the one who was benefited, but I think that would not be enough. I think for us, maybe we need to have a coffee together and talk more about it, inshallah.
I
Well,
was
make
just
sure you
going to suggest the same thing.
make sure you invite me, Ali, for the coffee as well.
Oh, yeah.
For the coffee
Oh, yeah.
only, huh? Okay.
No, I want to benefit more from Hussein, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Allah yabarik fikum.
Inshallah.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled and I'm honored. And inshallah, we will definitely be in touch and try to again convey this to our new generations and to the world, right?
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
بإذن الله.
Right. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Allah
Thank you.
يسلمكم.
Thank you.
حياكم
السلام
الله.
عليكم.
السلام
Very much.
عليكم.
الله
عليكم السلام
يحييك.
ورحمة الله.
مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.
Another inspirational session, Ali. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
I think every week it's getting better and better. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the strength to continue and to deliver the message bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
Bi'idhnillah, bi'idhnillah. I think we need such topics, because this is what people are suffering in this life and are trying to find bread and butter. So just to let them know, jobs is not everything. And for those students who are in schools, just because you don't get 80%, 90%, even 70% doesn't mean it's the end of your life. So be happy. There's still a lot up there. School is not everything. Job is not everything. There's a lot more than that. And for that, whoever liked, if you like it, press on like. And if you don't like it, I would still say like and share. And if they have not subscribed, please do subscribe and hit the indication button so you get all the notifications from UMMATI station. And thank you for our viewers. Hassan is saying very nice, Hatim. Well done, Ali and Hatim. Thank you, Hassan. And inshallah.
Shukran, Hassan. Jazakallah khair.
Thanks, Hassan, for being our regular viewer, mashallah. I don't know how to put star, otherwise I've put star to you. Anyway, Assalamu alaikum.